Okay, today we're going to talk about solar panels. So I am doing this on my Mimas base. You can see it in the distance over there. Now, I'm not going to get a lot of power here on Mimas because of these. You can see the efficiency says 98, 99, and only 63 watts. Um, and a note on the efficiency, I think 100% is pretty much unobtainable. I think your panels will occasionally blip with it, but I think it's like behind a tick. Um, so you can't achieve 1,000 or 100. Okay, I'm gonna need my screwdriver a lot here, but let's go over kind of what's going on. Um, the power just comes in and goes straight to this APC, just so I can keep the logic units here running. The daylight sensor, I don't think that absorbs any power. Well, it does say base power usage 10 watts, but I think if I switch this off, oh, yeah, okay, it is changing. So yeah, I'm not sure why that says 10 watts, because I don't think it actually does. So the daylight sensor is kind of our starting point. Let's talk about the horizontal, because that will be easier. Um, the the orientation of the panels, and you can tell what orientation it is because of the data and power. It's fairly symmetrical other than that. But the horizontal angle for the panels might be different than, you know, what you might expect. So we can we can just place the daylight sensor in different orientations um, to pick that up, and I'll go over kind of the different orientations eventually here. Um, but just note that if your panels are facing the wrong way horizontally, try just moving your daylight sensor, and hopefully it'll work. All right, the first one we're going to look at here is Logic Reader, and I named it Log Read Horizontal. Equip the screwdriver here so we can kind of see. This is how you set what the input is, and I just cycled through to find the daylight sensor, and then cycled through the different variables it has to find horizontal. Now the batch writer will gain input from the logic reader, horizontal, and it's broken up because if we were to do a batch writer, we can't read from the daylight sensor. It needs something to tell it what variable to look at. All right, so we're grabbing from the logic reader the output, um, and we're batch writing 2 solar panels on their horizontal setting. So that's how it's automatically looking from right to left as it goes around. Now, vertical is a little more complicated. I think vertical typically will tell you basically how far it is from, straight up, at least for a panel facing this way, or a sensor. Um, so the angle down from straight up, and that's not what we want. We want the angle from the horizon up above, because the panels they have a minimum vertical setting of 15, so they can't point straight towards the horizon. They can only do it 15 degrees up, all the way to 165. So they can actually flip around, um, and that would be 15 degrees off the horizon at the 165 setting. And for veterans of the game, you may note that things are a little different. Yeah, they've changed solar, I think, a few times. So anyway, notice, or I told you that we need to kind of invert this value, the 90 degrees, and here's how it's done. The starting point obviously is the logic reader for the vertical in daylight sensor variable vertical, but instead of going straight to the batch writer, we have to have an intermediary step here, the logic math vertical. And it's the basic math unit, the first one in the list. It's a logic processor, and we have a second input here for that, the logic memory vertical adjustment, I called it, and I've set that to 90. The math comparison, can't remember the right word, but operation, that's the right word. The operation we're doing is adding. If I click it, it would do subtract. May as well do that. But we want to add the logic memory vertical adjustment plus the logic reader for the vertical, and that outputs then to the batch writer. You can see it says state there on the tooltip, 170 degrees. So that's the input from the math unit outputting to solar panels again, and this time we're doing the vertical adjustment. And I guess I didn't specify, so batch writers will write to all of a specific type, whereas there's another writer that writes to an individual machine, and then you cycle through all the machines on the network. But we want to do all the solar panels all at once. Okay, so that is getting us a bit of power. These batteries last quite a while. I think it started at about 14%, so it's up to 49. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, it is going to have to power these overnight. There are ways to kind of set your panels up so that they will go back to the original horizon overnight, and then you can shut things off. But the amount of processing that, or the amount of these that we would need to pick that up would, one, be draining that power constantly, and two, it wouldn't benefit us much because we're getting so little power out of these. Yeah, I think the minimum is like 2 of them, and then those would be always on. So rather than powering 5, would be powering 7, during the day, and then those 2 at night. It just wouldn't. I think you'd gain a little bit, but just the extra effort and the extra building, not worth it in my opinion. Okay, so now let's look at the daylight sensors I have set up around here. I don't think I'm going to go over all of them. I just want to go over the first couple and then tell you about the vertical on the rest. And you'll see what I mean here. So this face of a cube, you can see the vertical. We're going to look at vertical first, is 111. This one's 111, 111. Well, okay, now it's changing to 112, but so did the rest, 113. So the vertical is the same on all of these, and we'll shift over to this one to kind of show you the vertical is different on these. These are all 30, but they're all the same. As are these. These are all 64. These are all 107. These up here, because there's 6 faces, so I got to get a little creative. These are all 72. Of course, dip down to 71 there. These are all 143. So the vertical is dependent on which face of a cube you place them on. But then there's the horizontal setting, which does differ between these. So this one's 116. We'll go to the right here, and you'll see that one's 117. and it's changing little. I'm not going to keep noting that. So this one's 90 less than the previous. If we look at this one, that one's in the negatives, negative 60, which was 90 less than this one. And we look at the last one here, it's negative 147, which is 90 less than this one. So there, changes of 90. There's 4 of them. That means 360. A circle has 360 degrees. So that's kind of tying that all together there. Now we'll look at these. Start at the top here. 123 minus 90 is 33. Minus 90 is negative 57. Minus another 90 is 147. So there we have the 360 degree options there again. And this one I'll kind of just note, I think this is where, yeah, this is where it kind of changes. Oh no, maybe not. So yeah, it's decreasing by 90, but this one is in the far negatives already, rather than being a positive like the other ones were. And here, this one, each is 90 degree difference. I'm not going to list the numbers again here because you can kind of just trust me at this point. And I'm mousing over them, so if you really want, you can pause and check it. There we go. So that's all 6. And we're back. So offline, we had the mushrooms grow, so we can harvest the seeds from them and harvest the fruit from them, if fruit is the right word. I probably should have done both of those offline because that was probably a little boring. Actually going to move the seeds over to here. So we need 2 more seeds. I think. Let me use the old mushroom as a seed. And we'll give 5 again next time. So let's use 3 of the seeds here. And the rest we'll use the mushrooms we grabbed today. There we go. So now we'll end up with 10 seeds, which is kind of where I want to stabilize it. I don't think I mentioned this. I grabbed the fertilized egg carton out of the package because I found out that it doesn't help preserve them at all, or at least not significantly. Also, I hooked up power to our water bottle filler. Helmet closed. Because I ran out of water. Let's grab a seal bar, top ourselves off with that. Good. Okay, so yeah, I hooked all that up. I think that's all for in here. Let's see, so we still have 47 liters in here, so that's pretty good. That will last us a while. Go ahead and open this up and head outside. Close my helmet. Cycle. I placed the second APC here so that I can charge my suit battery easily. Speaking of, may as well swap that out. Can't forget to turn that off. That's a fair power drain. This is almost empty. I rearranged the pipes so it's a lot easier. I don't have to jetpack over and try and open it that way. So right now I'm just sending it all straight out. It'll loop through the Stirling engine once and give us a little bit, but nothing significant. Just to make sure that we have enough. Let's see, do I have any oxide on me? I think that might be in the second mining belt here. I'm gonna toss a few a little bit in there just to give us a little extra power. Toss it in the furnace. Okay, so put that back down there. We'll close off the output so that we we don't waste a bunch. There we go. Looks like it didn't combust, but just hit it once and it should be good. Hopefully that will won't leave excess volatiles in the pipes. Hopefully it'll all burn off. Oh, no. Looks like it might struggle to do that. Okay, just to make sure, let's add another oxide. And I'm standing out of the sun. I have found that the sunlight does actually melt the melt stuff. Okay, so let's shut that off. Keep it looped in there. Oh, nice and hot. Looks like that segment won't, the volatiles won't all burn off, but oh well. All right, we'll start here. I have a list of stuff I want to print. So we're going to print 5 stackers. I figure that's that will help prevent magic flying objects. Speaking of, I noticed when I was setting up the solar, where is it? It should be out here. Maybe I hit, oh, no, there it is. Yeah, all the way over here, one of those adhesive insulations had landed. Yeah, I noticed that I was short one and I couldn't find it. Oh, speaking of adhesive insulation, I don't think I showed last episode. I left a pipe, oops, uninsulated so that I could show you the process here. So you have the wrench in one hand, but not your primary hand. You have to be sure you have adhesive insulation in your primary hand, and then you can upgrade the pipe. There we go. So I've already done that to all the pipes around, so we're getting more power now because it's holding the temperature better throughout those pipes. The furnace, as you can see, is still decreasing. Speaking of, let's go ahead and vent the old stuff out while we're tinkering around here. All right, another thing we wanted to do was a liquid drain. This is also for the Stirling engine setup. Set that so that it doesn't print more than one. Let's hop down to here. Configuration cartridge. I might need this for showing some things. I'll give you a brief look at it here as soon as I can. All right, we need some steel for that one. So let's grab our steel. Is that? Oh, the steel is in the hydraulic pipe bender right now. So, oh, there it is. Okay, so we want a couple of large batteries. This will help me kind of keep things rolling here. Mostly between streams. Okay, so I'm still working on that. Have this laid out for the stackers. Facing the wrong way, so rotate it once. There we go. And there we go. All right, that's one battery down. Let's swap it so it doesn't print another. Go ahead and turn this on. I think we can just set this to 50. That'll output full stacks. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and leave that on. This one we'll leave off because we're not using it. But I'm going to set it to 50 anyway. Okay. So did it print? Ah, there it is. So yeah, it spat it out and the stacker picked it up. We don't need to make chutes for these right now, but I'm going to. So we'll only print 3 of those. Oh, just spat out the liquid drain. Okay, so chutes. They're kind of like conveyor belts, except obviously you can't see them unless you use the window variant. So I go through here. There is the window variant, but it takes 2 kit chutes per. And as you can imagine, since there's sunlight here, if there was an oxide in the chute, it would melt. So just be aware of that. I've actually noticed some YouTubers that made the assumption that the chutes, everything are exposed to the air because he was losing oxide and volatiles in a chute, but it was a windowed chute, so he just didn't make that connection. Let's go ahead and set this drain up here. So I printed this off of the hydraulic pipe bender, and in this segment here, we're going to put, I'm going to scroll wheel to select a different variant, passive liquid drain. That will connect to the pipe, and let's see if we're getting any. Nope, there's no, oh, I had emptied it. So let's close that, open it up for the new one. Now, I think I mentioned that pollutants under the pressure we have in here, if it gets cold enough, the pollutants will actually give or will turn into a liquid. So we have to expel it, and that's what this drain does. It will siphon it off. It's not infinite, so you might need more than one under certain circumstances. Let's see, we should have enough battery power. I can charge up another one of those. Okay, I printed 5 stackers because I like to, like out here little ways. I don't want it too much in the way, but I also need it close. I think right here should do. I'm going to set up 2 stackers. I'm going to have them facing. Oh, that was an unstacker or unloader. If I were to put, say, my jetpack into the unloader, it would send out all the items inside of it one at a time, and then it would follow it up with the backpack. So that's handy to, if you want to smelt a whole bunch of stuff all at once. You can send it through, but then you'll need a sorter to make sure that your jetpack doesn't go into the furnace too. Okay, we are almost out of cables, but that's one reason why I put the stackers on here, is because now we can print cable and they won't explode everywhere. Okay, so next, got a big list of stuff that I need to print here. So we're just going to work on those. I'm going to print 2 of the sensors. If you saw in the first part, the sensors are what you use for tracking the position of the sun. And I don't need 2 of them, but I'm printing 1 just in case I need it for some other reason. For example, if I want to see what the temperature is inside of the room here. Speaking of, let's check the temperature in here. Still above 0, so about there is where I'll try to vent it, but I'm not going to worry about getting it perfect or anything. Okay, so that's the sensors printed. Now, filter. Our carbon dioxide filters have been wearing out as we've been playing, so we want to make new ones of those. So I'm going to print 3 of these, 2 to supplement the ones I've got, and then a third just to have an even number. Even number is important because recycling, when you recycle things, it gives you half quantities sometimes, and we want to avoid that. And so this one's for later, once that one at 46% wears out. These 2 are for recycling later, because as far as I know, you can't do anything else with burnt out filters. Okay, the last thing we wanted to print from here is the insulated tank. And we'll need the steel for that. But before we do that, let's hook up these stackers. Let's see. Yeah, I think we'll bring it around this way. Now I'll go over kind of why I have these stackers out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so this one for now, I'm just going to set it to, I think, 20. Okay, so this stacker is for when I need to split up partial quantities. Like right now, I want to grab some of the steel. Oh, so we're gonna let it split off 20, and then I ejected it right away. So this is my kind of variable quantity one. When I want something in specific, I'll make adjustments on the stacker and split stuff off so I can use it in other places. This one, on the other hand, I'm going to turn on my labeler and click on the gauge here rather than to just manually increase or decrease. You can use the labeler to set a specific quantity, and we're just going to set it to 500, which is, as you can see, I'm going to decrease and then increase again, and I can't increase it more than 500. So this stacker, my intention is, like when I made this whoopsie with the steel where it's grabbing 50 of each, if we want to merge them all together, I have a dedicated stacker just for that. And there we go. It's back up to 190. Let's go ahead and print the insulated tank. Okay, back to the list of things that I wanted to print. I think that's the last one I wanted to print out of here. And we'll get to the insulated tank probably in a future episode. Now there's a few things that we wanted to print from here. First off, let's start with the portable light. We had ejected all of our ingots from here. Oops, load that back in. And we need another copper because we used all of that printing our cables. Okay, so we're going to print the portable light. We'll switch it so it doesn't print a second. Oh, and yeah, apparently our power situation is more dire than I thought. So we're going to borrow this second APC here and just link it back up out here. That orientation. There we go. Switch it on. Oh, I had swapped it. I'm gonna do that again. All right, next, let's see, we printed the configuration cartridge. At least I'm pretty sure we did. I'll have to check on that. Printed the 2 large batteries, good. There's one. Or scanner cartridge. We can't print the color one yet, so I'm just going to print the normal one. We'll grab that in a sec. Let it fall. Okay, so there's kind of 2 modes to this. Let me precision place it here. If you click on these, it kind of deploys, and now it's a little more stable, a little less likely to fall. If you highlight kind of the center part of it, it allows you to pick it up, but if you highlight up here, it tries to turn it on. And let's go ahead and load up into the battery slot here. Put one of these large batteries in, flick it on, and there we go. It's quite handy to light up a space, fairly large space even. But what we mainly got it for is that we're going to put it in not our jetpack, but our suit. Because the shadows line up a little differently if it's in the suit versus the jetpack. I'll swap it so you can maybe see. You can see down where the frames are, you can see the shadow move. And I just prefer the uniform. I can't remember the specifics, but it's a thing. Okay, so we got the scanner cartridge. I'll give you a demo on that in a bit here. Now we wanted logic. This is for the solar panel setup that you you saw earlier. And I'm going to need 4 of the IOs, 1 of the processors, and 1 memory. Well, that is working. Let me look. I'm going to print some solar panels also. This variety, 15 steel each, and I want at least 4 of them. So that would be 60, but I guess since we can afford it, let's go ahead and go to printing 8 of them. 8 times 15 is, what, 120? And this is a bit of an investment in steel, but hopefully soon I will be able to get more steel rather rapidly. And I think, oh, I printed a 5th. Well, we might find use for it later. All right, processor. If I could spell, logic processor. And then memory. Okay, we're gonna have just enough gold to do this. So the printing of those extras was not catastrophic, but would have ran out. I had to grab some from a different machine or something. Okay, so that's the last of that. Now, solar panels, we need more gold, which, yeah, I guess I just mentioned that we're burning through it. Okay, must have ejected it by now. Come on. And it's going to need a lot more copper. We'll leave the copper in this one. And the silicon. Since I'm so low on power, I have to watch that power usage. And that's a good time to come over here and vent out the old, and we'll bring in fresh air as soon as it's kind of purged. Wow, 16 below. Must be cold in there. Okay, so I'm just going to set this stuff here for now. This is for the solar setup. I'm going to do that off screen because I had the intro before. So I'll just set it up offline. Okay, I said I was going to go over a couple of these cartridges here quick. Let's go ahead and do that. So we swap to the configuration cartridge. This is something you can look at various machines to kind of get information out of them. When you're using like the logic units, as mentioned in the, or as you saw in the intro, that's quite helpful if you want to look at all the hidden data that the object might have. So here we're looking at the station battery. The charge is 0.5%, I assume. Let's see, ratio is 0. Oh, okay. Charge is probably the amount of power incoming. But ratio is the percentage, so 0.1% right now. Whereas this one, 0.31%. Yep. And is this still running? So yeah, very useful, especially for the programming aspect. Now let's show you the ore scanner. As you can imagine, it scans ores. So this is going to be kind of handy if I'm out and I'm trying to find, where a deposit ends. I can use this. But as you can see, all the little pips out there are just one color. It's monochrome. So you don't know what you're looking for, you just know that there's something there. Okay, but that'll be handy. If I find a rare resource, I can try and grab as much of it as I can. Swap this back. Okay, I think that's pretty much all we have time for here. We will see you next episode.